Do you know the top 10 things you could be doing that devalue your home? Well, I'm about to break them down one by one. Each one should be able to save money, keep money in your pocket when it's time to sell. I'm Tracy Roberts. I'm a local realtor in the area of Greenville, South Carolina with the Atlas Home Team. And I love sharing things with people that help them save money and keep the most money in their pocket when it comes time to sell. Let's get into it. Number one, do not over improve the property. So here's the thing. You want to have the most beautiful and the cleanest property to draw eyes to it, not spend the most money to upgrade it past the comps that you're going to be compared to by an appraiser. Because when buyers buy homes, they most of the time need to finance it. And then the lender is going to call an appraiser. And when the appraiser comes to the property, they're going to go off of the value of the comparable properties around it. If you have put more items in the property, or you've added a bonus room that there's no bonus rooms in other ones, or you finished out a basement and you spent $50,000 and they only give you $20,000 of an appraisal value, you've spent money and you devalued it compared to what you're going to do for the appraisal later. We used to be in a market that it didn't matter. There was appraisal gap waivers and people would pay above comps. That wasn't the norm, and it's not the norm now. You don't want to overspend. So technically, I guess it's not devaluing it, but it could be overspending that money you'll never get back later. Keep your money in your pocket. 2 is over-personalizing the home. And it may sound silly that little things like this, but they matter. So if you put a dark wall, you may love it, but somebody may hate it. If you do overly busy patterns for wallpaper, some people just can't get past seeing that, and they can't envision their own stuff there, and they just can't figure out like where they fit in with it. In the tray ceilings, if you put like the cloud look in the dining room or something like that, again, that's over personalizing, and they're envisioning what it's going to cost them to have to change it. So they're going to offer less on your property for what they're going to have to change on it. Another one, unless it's like a man cave or a designated area for this, having professional sports team rooms or musicians or like artist things like that, you really don't want to do it. And if you are, the only exception I guess would be if it's a local team, because then there would be more of a buyer pool for it. But if you're moving to Greenville, South Carolina, or you're selling in Greenville, South Carolina, and you're going to put the Steelers on, or you're going to put the Browns, I don't know anybody who's going to put the Browns, but if you're going to put the Browns, it's probably not the place to put that, because that's not the buying pool of the people. So in their mind, they're already envisioning what they're going to have to do, and they're probably thinking, I can't change it. So you're taking that from them. So you're lowering the buying pool of people who will buy it, which then also means less people will put in offers, which is sometimes less offer price that comes to you. So you're devaluing it there as well. If you're going to do those rooms, it's wonderful. People enjoy them. Before you go to sell your home, just go ahead and take it down. You're taking it to the next place anyway, most likely, since you loved it a lot. So go ahead and make it a neutral canvas for them to envision what they're going to utilize it for, because they may not use it for that space. They may need it for a playroom, a sewing room, lots of different things. Let them envision that. Let them have that. Number 3 is putting too many things in your home. I know we love our stuff and we don't realize that we collected one thing and then somehow we got 20 of similar things, whether it's, I don't know, salt and pepper shakers, or it's teapots, or whatever it may be that you love, or your grandchildren have given you, or your spouse, or whatever. And they ended up on a shelf and you thought it was gorgeous. You just didn't realize it was a lot. When a buyer comes through, they can't get past some of those things. And let me share an experience that we had. We went to this beautiful home a few years back with one of our buyers, and the gorgeous home on the outside. It was absolutely stunning. Curb appeal for days. We walked in and the buyer goes, oh my. I look up after I took the key from out of the door and I put it in my pocket, and I look up and, no exaggeration, there was hundreds, close to 1,000 probably, Coca-Cola product items. There were cans and there's bottles and there's tons of polar bears, and they were throughout the home. And so it was a gorgeous home, but we couldn't get past that. They couldn't see it. They were everywhere. There wasn't a spot left, right? So when we left and we went back to reconvene about the properties that we saw, And I mentioned the property. They said, we honestly don't remember anything about the house other than there were so many Coca-Cola products and we didn't even know that many existed. So what you derive out of that is, if you have so many things for people to look at, they're not looking at what you're really trying to sell. And again, if you're moving and that's what you really want to do, you need to pack that stuff. It's going to a new home anyway. So go ahead and pack it up, and then you don't have to worry about it. And if it's collectible memorabilia, you wouldn't want somebody to try to offer that for the house and want some of those items either, because it's precious to you, right? That could have been easily fixed had the agent and the seller sat down and had the hard conversation. Hey, this stuff needs to be packed up. Let's get it deep cleaned now that it's packed up, and have buyers look at it. Now they lost a buyer, probably a bunch, because what happened is the house had 4 price reductions after I showed it, and several houses in that neighborhood sold around it in the next couple weeks. Number 4, not making upgrades to the 2 main rooms in the house that will bring you the most money. If you've had a home over 7 to 10 years, the kitchen and the bathroom, especially the master bathroom, are key things, because a kitchen can either be awe-inspiring when you walk into a home, or it can sit flatly with you. And let's think about it. Logic makes people think, emotion makes people act. And if you can't draw their emotions by things inside your home, they're not going to act. And you want them to act by putting an offer in at the highest offer that their feelings want them to do. You'll either get an offer that's not what you want, or no offer at all without doing that. And in a master bathroom, if you have it to where it has no upgrades and it still has linoleum countertops, and everyone in the neighborhood has upgraded to granite, and other houses are on the market, they may go to that one, or they'll put a lower offer in to compensate themselves for what they're going to have to spend on that granite. You don't want to miss out when you could have probably gotten a deal by looking at different contractors to get the lowest price for the best quality and the wow factor you're looking for that future buyer. Don't devalue your home. Number 5, ignoring curb appeal. We all know about the normal things to do. Cut the grass, edge it, blow off the leaves, make sure that the shrubbery is trimmed up, make sure that there's flowers in the flower bed and they're strategically placed and it's seasonal. We know all of those things, right? And we're doing them, hopefully. We don't want to make it look bad. So there's some things that we're not thinking about that will definitely make people turn up their nose if they're not being done. We need to pressure wash the house, especially if it has siding. We need to not only pressure wash the house, but the driveway, the walkway, the sidewalk in front of your home. We want it to look clean and aesthetically correct and pleasing when people walk up. We want to make sure there's no cobwebs that are in front of the house. Do you know how many people use the garage to get into their home? They never walk on their front porch except for to get the Amazon box. So they're not looking up to see if there's any cobwebs. Well, a lot of times when we're opening a door, while we're getting the key out of the lockbox, most of the people are looking around to see what's going on. So they're going to see that type of stuff. You don't want them to see any dirt, because if they feel like you haven't taken care of the property outside, they're going to feel like it wasn't taken care of inside, right? So then the other things that you need to think about are making sure that the gutters are clear. Clean gutters and that the debris is out of the bottom. Also, washing the door, cleaning the windows. Any furniture on the front porch, make sure it's clean. It's got a good spiffied up. Paint the mailbox. If it's a black mailbox and it's faded, go ahead and put a fresh coat of black on there. Make sure that the numbers are very visible to the home and that they're modern and they go with the appeal of the home. The one thing about the gutters that I mentioned earlier that'll help you in the future, once it goes under contract to save you even more money, is during inspections, if the gutters are clear, they're not going to ask you to fix anything on them. They're not going to ask you to replace them or anything like that. It's much cheaper to maintain gutters than it is to replace a whole gutter system. So I hope that one helped. Number 6 is having carpet in all the areas in the home, instead of just in maybe the living area or the bedrooms. So what I mean is we do not want to have carpet in bathrooms. Bathrooms are definitely a no-no. Germs and other areas of it is just not a great idea. Dining rooms, another place. We do not put carpet in dining rooms. People, the first thing that they think is it's dated and they're going to have to replace it. And in their mind, they're already lowering the price of what they can offer you because of what they have to replace. One thing that happens a lot of times is people will cover hardwood floors. I know it's crazy, but they will cover hardwood floors with carpet. You don't want to do that. You want to refinish the hardwood, because we were talking earlier in the video about appraisers. So if the house has hardwood compared to having carpet, the appraisal value is higher, even if it's some. So how it looks is they go, is it some carpet? Is it some tile? Is it some, or is it all? There's different values that they give it. If the living room has hardwood floor and it's the only room that has hardwood floor and you finish it, you've added appraisal value for you, and you just protected yourself in that. So it's a great idea. Number 7, repairs. I get it. A lot of times we'll feel, okay, it's just a minor repair, or it's just a repair that I'll wait until I know when my house goes under contract or when I'm ready to sell. It doesn't bother me, so I'm just going to leave it. Well, the problem with that is some of the repairs can get more expensive the longer you wait. HVAC, plumbing, electrical, those things get worse. They do not get better, and when they get worse, they cost more. So if you handle them ahead, it makes it so you don't have to spend more during the negotiation of the repairs. Also, buyers, when they come through your home, they're going to see things. They may not see the HVAC, but they can feel if it's not working properly. Also, if the light switch doesn't work or something like that, they're going to notice those things. So they're going to already think, if you're not taking care of the property, what are the things that are wrong with the property they don't know about? Don't devalue the offer that's going to come to you because you're trying to wait. There's lots of ways that you can finance that, and even sometimes at 0%, if you're about to list your property, they'll let you pay for that at closing out of your net proceeds. Talk to me more about that in the future. Number 8, shoddy DIY work. Whether it was you, it's okay, we all try. And it could have been you bought a house that somebody previously purchased, then fixed up, and then resold it, and then some things are starting to come out that weren't done perfectly. It happened. It's okay. If you tried some DIY work, and we totally get that happens, heck, I have, and it looks great, but you can tell it's not professionally done, go ahead and call the professional. They can usually touch it up for not much money to make it look 100%, and it will help you later on, because then they don't question how many other things were done not by a professional in the house, and then they get a little nervous, and then they do extra inspections, and then they want a lower price on the house and all that kind of stuff. Think about this. How many houses or how many pictures have you seen where the LVP is laid on the wood-like floor, and they put it side by side instead of making it staggered like real wood gets laid down, and how bad that looks? You would never want it to just be like straight across and then straight across again, right? So that's how their minds think of it when it's shoddy. So just double check it, and that's all it takes, is having a professional come out, look at it, and it can make a simple fix and get you more money. Number 9. This one, it seems like not your problem, but it kind of is. This is the neighbors next to you. If their yards look poor, if there's cars in the driveway, it needs pressure washed. Hear me out on this, okay? Sometimes people don't realize what's going on with them. They're going through life. They don't mean to cause that. So a simple phone call to say, hey, I'd love to cut the grass for you. I'm going to send somebody over to have it pressure washed. Hey, what's going on with the car in the yard? So we've helped people do that before, and there was a widow who did not know what to do with the car that was in the driveway. Her grass was overgrown, and it needed to be pressure washed. We had it all handled for her. She was so grateful. She really didn't know what to do with it. So a lot of times, it's not that the neighbors are just not taking care of it because of choice or anything like that. They just don't know what to do. We set her up with a lawn care company after that to help her get maintenance. She had everything that she needed, and it made it so your pictures were great, all that kind of stuff. If you work collectively with your neighbors, it'll make your property value higher, and it'll just make for a good citizen. Number 10, last but not least, pet odors and their hair everywhere. Now, don't get me wrong, we all love Fido. We have a sweet bulldog. Her name is Hermione, and let me explain how this all works. She's the sweetest thing ever, and yet, when Hermione walks by, somehow her hair jumps off her body and sprinkles like glitter onto me. So much so, it reminds me of a toddler holding a blue bottle of glitter and just throws it everywhere on you, and now you become a resident of Arendelle and best friends with Elsa. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll just let it go. I totally get it. But if you do, you know there's nothing you can do to just get it off of you, right? So the best thing to do is to have the carpets professionally shampooed, have the furniture professionally shampooed, replace the dog bed. You hide those things when you're showing it. You want to wash down all the windows and things like that. And do not forget the little kitty cat, okay? They have their own little smelly things, right? If it is not a power litter box, you want to replace it. You want to get a brand new one and start with a fresh one when you're going to be doing showings, because you do not want to have a smell or anything like that. You also want to have it hidden and from the pictures or any of that kind of stuff, and just not make it like really out there. If you have birds or anything like that, do the proper protocols for that as well. You want to make sure that the home smells good. And if for any reason it still has an odor, there's something called an ionizer that you can put into the home, and it usually takes out cigarette smoke, or it takes out odors from the animals. While we're talking about cigarettes, this is an extra tip I'll throw in there. Try, if you know that you're going to be selling your home, try smoking outside. Just start the habit now, because cigarette smoke is one of those things that are so hard to get out of the home. It gets into your walls and it makes like a film. It gets into the carpet. And yes, an ionizer does a lot to try to get it out, but sometimes carpet has to be replaced. And sometimes buyers won't even like go in if they smell it. Sometimes, like, many people are allergic to it. So instead of risking that, just don't devalue the house by having smoking inside. So that's it. 10 things that you could do to not devalue the property that you love so much and you want to make sure you net the most money on when you go to sell it. I'm Tracy Roberts. I'm a local realtor in the area of Greenville, South Carolina. If you've ever thought about selling your home and any of these tips helped you and you're in our area, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be glad to help. My contact information is below. And if you like videos like this, go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment below. And don't forget to turn your notifications so you don't miss any future content. Looking forward to seeing you next time.